Well, hello there. I'm Elizabeth Day with New Day Sensory Shop. And if you are new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I wanted to say that today is going to be a little bit different. I am recording on my laptop in my mess, also known as the craft room. And today we are going to talk about something very important. We're going to talk about pricing, how I price, what I price, why I price what I price, and kind of the ins and outs of business. Now I'm going to use this little gnome. Maybe like, there he is, this little gnome or this little gnome as an example of how I price things because I just made them and I just priced them out. So to do this, I'm going to show you my calculator. I use Camryn's Cute Creation Calculator. I'm going to show you it. Not all of the ins and outs, just kind of the basic of the one page. This calculator is amazing. I'm going to link it in the description. I'm not sponsored, but you should check it out. It's really good. I like it. I use it a lot. I save the pages how I want them. It works out for me. But I do not own the calculator rights, all that. I just bought the calculator. I got it on sale when it first came out, but you can get it for pretty cheap. I think it's $14. I got it for $10. I'm going to try and show you as much as I can, and I might look a little derpy because I am recording my screen. So here we go. The first part of doing my pricing that I do is material costs. Now I have all of my material costs here. We have Bernat, the blanket yarn. It's $11.99 a skein. There are 300 grams in a skein, and I needed 52 grams. I weighed it. I use a little kitchen scale, and it works out really great for me. My total cost for that. Now mine are pounds. It doesn't show that, but for me, I don't do dollars, I do pounds. I know it kind of says that format as currency, but it's not. It doesn't really matter, does it? This is my stuffing. I get it in bulk. This is what I pay for 5 kilograms. I needed 28 grams. It cost me 18p. Safety eyes. I don't have safety eyes in this one, but I usually do have safety eyes, so I just kind of have this on there. Key fobs, didn't use a key fob this time, so that's 0. And the pumpkin. This is what the pumpkin cost to make. It was also Bernat, so I needed 8 grams. Ended up being 32 cents. This is time. That would be me. My hourly wage is $7.25. If at any time I feel like I need to raise that or to hire someone, I figure I can. But if I ever do hire someone, it's going to probably be my daughter, who I am teaching to crochet now. So there is that. Each thing shows everything. This is my gnome. This is my SKU number. I have that for tracking purposes and a lot more for my UKCA than anything else. And this is my markup. Now I have a 30% markup, and that covers a lot of things. And I think that that's really important for everybody to know. In a handmade business, a lot of people forget things. Now, if you're doing this so that you can get more yarn, so that you can make more plushies and the cycle continues and you're excited about that, and that is all that you need out of your little stuff, that's great. Try and remember that you do have to pay taxes on over a certain amount, and more power to you. I love it. I love that you're doing it. Most people won't do that here in the United Kingdom. Well, at least they shouldn't, because there is a law that you have to test everything that you hand make to give or sell or give to charity, that for stuffed toys, because it has to be safe from birth. The law is called the UKCA requirements. It is the soft toy testing, and it is important that you realize you have to account for other costs. Those costs that I have to account for, aside from operating costs, are materials for my testing items. So every time I make a new design, I have to test it. I have to pull it apart, light it on fire. I do a lot of other things, but you have to test it and make sure that not only do all the components meet requirements, but that they are safe and aren't going to break apart and rip apart, and they can handle a child's playing. Even though it may look like it's a decoration, it has play value. And a lot of my stuff really is toys, and they need to be safe for children. Some of my stuff is a little decorative, but for the most part, if it has play value, it has to be tested. So I have that to account for. The next thing that I have to account for is driving to all of my markets. Petrol is insanely expensive. Wear and tear on my vehicle is insanely expensive. These are things that you can use a mileage calculator to calculate, which I do for taxes, but they are something that people just don't add into their expenses, and I do. Another thing that my markup covers is paper, ink, printers. I actually need a new printer because I have killed this one with my business. I make a million tags. My tags, my paper, my ink, all of those things that I use for my business, my thank you cards. Even if you're getting them from Vistaprint, you need to charge for them. Maybe it's 2 cents per animal, but I don't want to put 2 cents per animal in there and try and remember every single itemized thing, so I have a markup. My markup also covers the electricity for my items that I use to make. Like I use my Cricut to make tags. I use my lights so that I can crochet. Maybe I would be using my lights, but probably I wouldn't because I get a lot of good natural light. And if I'm just hanging out, I'm not going to turn on an extra light. When I am crocheting, I do turn on an extra light because I need to be able to see better. I know some people have neck ones. I really want one. I am thinking of investing in something like that. And again, that would come out of my markup. Another thing that comes out of my markup is crochet hooks. I go through crochet hooks. I go through needles. Um, I was like, I'm gonna show you one of my needles. They're all bent. I bend them. I go through them like crazy. But I go through crochet hooks. I go through needles. I go through different itty bitty things. I had to have a little tool to pop the eyes on. I've gone through two of those because I go through a lot of eyes. But I had to have two because I kept losing one and I suck at finding things, so I had to have two. And each of those things goes into my markup. I had to have a canopy for my markets. I may at some point need to replace that. For the next market that I want to do, I have to have a sign that has my name on it, which means I need to order that from Vistaprint. I could make it myself with my Cricut, but it would probably be more efficient to get it from Vistaprint or some place like that. I know of Vistaprint, I'll probably use them, not sponsored. There are a lot of different things you need that you use to make your plushies that you aren't thinking of. Like I said, electricity, a space to craft in. If you have a craft room and you are using it to hold all of your yarns, all of your plushies, I've got big plushie things everywhere here. This room is dedicated to mine and my mom's business. And so a whole room in the house is used just for that. That's another thing that, you don't account for. You do account for in taxes later on. But when you're thinking about those things, you don't want to undercut yourself. If you sell things for just the basic materials and time, you got your materials, you got your time. If you sell it just for that, you are going to be losing money. You're going to be losing money on all the incidentals. And then you'll be like, why am I not making money? So make sure that you are counting not just your time, not just your materials. Now you don't have to do a markup, but what they do is that's called retail and wholesale. Now, if I get orders that are specifically large, then I will generally do wholesale, and that would just be my materials and my labor costs. That's my wholesale costs. That's the lowest I will sell an item for, and I will sell it in bulk for that. assuming there are no other fees associated. A lot of times I will even add those fees, so I will show you that next. I also have tax. It's here as sales tax, but I have 20% of tax I put away for VAT, even though I'm not doing VAT yet. I put it away for VAT because I believe I will be doing enough in sales eventually to need to, so I put it away. I also have it for taxes at the end of the year. So my business taxes, the sales taxes says that that's just tax. That's money that is going to go to pay for taxes for my company, because I do have a company. This is not just something that I do for fun. I am trying really hard to build a business. And while I have only been doing it for a few months, I have been doing well and I have been enjoying it. Now here I have my craft show prices. Now this is something that is on Camryn's calculator that I just really like. It has the material costs. These are what my card fees would be. My card fees are a 5% fee. Booth fee per item, because I sell an average of say 9 things, and my average booth fee is 30. That varies, but that's about where I'm at right now in quite a few of my craft fairs. So this is what I charge per item for my booth fee. Now, one of the booth fee I have is the craft coop takes 20%. I do not have that on here, but I have a completely different way of doing it, but it kind of ends up about the same as having a booth fee per item. It does 20%, which we already know is right here for this item. Now, it says it's $17.71 should be my selling point. I do not sell things in point pence, so I will round that one up because it's over 5. I will round it up to 18. If it's under 5, I will, like if it was 17.45, I would round it down to 17. My total profit would be about £8, and that is the money that I use to pay myself, and the money that I use to well, that's not the money that I use to pay myself. I say, this is the money that I use to pay myself right here. Out of this money, I reinvest 60%, and then 40% is my profit. I reinvest 60% in yarns, materials, like eyes, keychains, things like that. I always reinvest to make sure that I am continually putting in more than I am getting personally, because my business deserves to have things put into it. It's called a 60-40 split. It's really common in business. You want to make sure that you are always spending about 60% or a certain percentage of your profits in your own business on improving your business. And maybe that is getting a tent. Maybe that is getting a sign that says your name on it for a market, which I am going to be doing soon. Maybe that is tablecloths, of which I have purchased. And you will continually need to purchase things. Things wear out. Maybe that is getting new displays. Ooh, I am so saving up for some new displays. I have to get a new table because one of my tables is too small and I need a bigger one. All these different things are things that you have the markup for. They're things that you want to use out of your profit. Now, again, I don't make enough to have an employee. I would have to raise my prices if I got to a point where I would need an employee. Or I would have to take it out of the profit or the markup. But I have that markup for a lot of good reasons, and I find that it's fair. It keeps me in business. It keeps me continuing on. As I said, there are a lot of reasons why you do a markup. You should always, I feel like I'm trying to justify that, and I shouldn't, because there's a lot of reasons for it that I charge a markup. I do charge less of a markup if I'm doing a custom order or a special order from someone, because I didn't have to pay a booth fee. So let's say I have somebody come to me and they're like, I would like to have this puppy, which has happened. And I will either charge them shipping or I won't, depends on how close they are to me. For the most part, I don't generally charge shipping. It doesn't cost me that much. I will charge it on Etsy. I will charge it on Made Me. Other than that, if it's just within my area, I won't charge shipping because that's something that goes in my overhead costs in my 30% markup. But I don't have website fees because they came to me. I don't have to, I might waive the packaging fees. I will put stickers and things like that into my packaging, and I make those. So there is that. I will charge them material costs. I will charge them labor costs. And then I will charge them probably a much smaller markup between 10 and 15% to cover, again, all of those incidentals. But I do not charge as much because they didn't have to have a table, no booth fee, none of that stuff. No, when I'm at a craft fair, I have overhead and all sorts of things. Plus, y'all, my husband works for free on craft show days. So, we've got 2 people there. I can't do a show alone. I haven't managed yet. Even if I do start trying to, there's always the concern that I might have a seizure. So I have to have a carer with me when I do it, even if it's my daughter who is 16. I do have to have somebody with me to do a market. And that's difficult because you've got 2 grown-ups, not one, that can't do things. My husband often works on the weekends, so we're working on that, on what we can do with the child and how much we pay the child, because I do have to pay her. Otherwise, she would have to go get a regular job because she has expenses too in life. So there are a lot of things about having a family business that I feel it's justified to charge a markup. It is a business as well. And if you want to grow your business, you need to act like a business. And every other business out there, all the big corporations, they are charging a markup. You need to too. So I do get a healthy profit on each of my items. This is what I charge. So I will be charging £18 for this. It has, just so we're clear, 1, 2, 3, 4 colors on it. So there's 4 color changes. And I just kind of just take that into account. Another thing that I take into account is its size. If it was smaller, I would probably charge less anyway. It gives me a little wiggle room too, the markup, so I can put things on sale. And that's something that's exciting. So that is how I price my items. I do, as I said, I use Camryn's calculator. To calculate the markup, I have a sheet of all of my expenses and things like that, and just kind of an average for the last 3 months of what I'm spending on those extra things. So that is how I calculate my markup. I hope that this was interesting to you. If it was, please give us a like. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. I know pricing is complicated. Some people will charge wholesale and they'll get upset if you charge retail. I am a business. I am a handmade business owner, but I am a business, and my time matters and my business skills matter. And I have to sit all those hours of doing data entry and making sure I'm doing my technical files and testing and paying the teenagers to come and do the testing and all of that stuff. It costs money. So if I spend 8 to 10 hours doing paperwork, that's not in my little plushie cost. It's in my markup. So anyway, comment, like, subscribe. And thank you so much for coming. If you would like to watch some much more fun videos, there will be some here and here. Bye.